Hello students, and welcome to our continuing lesson on exponential functions, particularly dealing with word problems that use exponential equations. And we actually already solved number 2 in a previous video. Go ahead and look that up if you can't find it, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and look that up. So we already did all of this work here. We made a table. We already solved all of the problems, and we actually got the answer to this, okay? But I want to show you another way because you can see at the intermediate steps here, there's a lot of crazy looking numbers. So I'm going to kind of reference this original problem. So in this original problem, we said this is the start, right? This is the start. And that was 0, and we don't know the answer for that, which is fine. Now, I'm going to apply a very useful method here. I'm going to shift all of the times. So we're going to shift the times. And you'll see that there is nothing wrong with doing this. And in our original problem, it says hours since start. I'm going to redefine this to say hours since 2 hours. And I know this seems really weird, but watch what becomes of this. So instead of 0, it's going to be -2, because 0 is actually 2 hours before 2 hours. 2 here is going to be 0, because that's 0 hours since 2 hours. 5 is going to become 3, so I'm just subtracting 3 from each of these numbers. Subtracting 2 from each of these numbers. 24 is going to become 22. Time at the number of bacteria at -2, I still don't know. I know that this is 12, this is 43, and this I still do not know. Okay? And this may seem very awkward and unusual, but I'm going to actually repeat this problem here, this kind of the same way. Y equals AB to the T. And then I'm going to use this fact here that when y is equal to 12, x is equal to 2. But under our new method here, when y is equal to 12, x is equal to 0. And we can solve this much easier. 12 equals a b to the 0th, which is just 1. So 12 equals a. And you can already see that a in our new equation is much simpler than what it looked like before. Okay. Now let's solve for b. Now we're going to use the other point here. We know that when y is equal to 43, t is equal to, we already know that a is equal to 12, so we can use that, and times b, and it's b to the 3rd. So now when we solve this, we get 43 over 12 is equal to b to the 3rd. 43 over 12 to the 1/3 equals b. And that's that. Now let's compare this. The values for b is still the same, the base is still the same, because the bacteria is still growing at the same rate. The starting point, the initial values for a, let me show you here, the initial value, a in the original way that we did it, and this way it's significantly different because we're using a different point. But it's not going to matter, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to say f of t equals 12 times 43 over 12 to the 1/3. The whole thing raised to the t power. And now I'm going to graph this, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to say 43 over 12 to the 1/3. store it in alpha b. When I go to y equals, I want to say 12 times b to the x, or t here. Okay, so this is a, this whole expression here is b, and this is raised to the t. Now, the reason is, the reason we do this is that it makes life a little bit easier. You can see that the getting 12 here is a much easier process than what we had going on before. But now we just have to be careful. After 24 hours, we cannot use 24 anymore. We have to use 22 because everything's been shifted down a little bit. So we have to use f of 22. And I'm just gonna go into my my table here. I'm gonna delete everything. So after 24 hours, again, I'm looking for 22. So I'm gonna type in 22 here for x, and you can see I get 139,300. And that's the same number that I got before. I think I rounded incorrectly last time. This should be a 0, okay? But it's a 139,300 after 24 hours. What about at the start? Well, the start is not 0 anymore, it's -2. And if I type in -2, you can certainly predict that it's going to be the same things we had going on before, about 5. And in fact, it's the exact same number. It's not just the rounding here, it's the exact same number. Okay? And we can also make some other predictions here. If I put in 3, I should get 43. If I put in 0, I should get 12, just like I had before. So to compare these two, I mean, there's nothing, these two are essentially the function that do the exact same thing. I can use them to get the exact same answers, but if I'm clever and smart about this, we can shift everything down to, so that we have a 0, an initial value here, and it'll get us all of the same answers. So that's the main idea, and you can think about this in terms of translations as well. These things are very, very similar to each other. You can translate from one function to another. It's just that how you interpret the data. Now the start time is -2. The start time used to be 0. 0 here means after 2 hours. 3 means after 5 hours. 22 means after 24 hours. If I had another number, 36, this actually means after 38 hours. Okay, if we were to make these adjustments. Okay, so this method here, hopefully you can internalize this and practice this in your homework and in your assignments, because it's really a great way for you to think critically about this, and also to get the answer quicker and easier and with fewer errors. Once again, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.